Hello again, welcome to another episode of the GabStreamer channel. We've got an exciting one today. We have the DAC from PS Audio DirectStream, and we have the Denafrips Terminator. Both excellent DACs. We're going to see how they both compare to each other. The Denafrips Terminator I bought at the Edge when they were making the Terminator 2, and when I like opening things when I buy them just to see what's inside. When I opened it, it looked pretty much like the Terminator 2, but it does not have the label of the Terminator 2. I'm guessing that they were already migrating and they did not officially announce it, so can't claim it is a Terminator 2, it's still Terminator, but I'll have some, it'll be interesting actually if it's not a Terminator 2. Both of these are, the reason I first bought the Terminator because I want to upgrade my DAC, like most of us always upgrade things. Before that I had a Node 2i, which I loved actually. It's an excellent DAC for the money. You can't go wrong with that DAC, by the way. And so I upgraded to Denafrips Terminator. I had some vintage speakers at the time, which I still love and I have. They're great speakers, but they're not extremely revealing. I could not find a difference between my Node 2i and the Terminator. I listened and listened, and it was a little bit better, but I couldn't see to justify all this money. I said, damn. And the only issue with the Terminator is that it's not a streamer as well. It's just a DAC. Means you have to have a streamer. So now you gotta go source another streamer. To get a good streamer, you gotta pretty much chop your liver. And there's most of them are very expensive streamers. Or you have to go with like a regular DAC and take the streaming part out of it, which is kind of okay. So I was running the Terminator from the Node 2i streamer, and probably why I couldn't see a huge difference between the two. And that's what made me build this my own streamer. I didn't justify spending $3,000–4,000 on a decent streamer. I did try another DAC, I think it was a Lumen one of their mid entry levels. I also couldn't see a huge difference. So I said, okay, I'm going to make my own streamer. Thanks to some people on the DIY audio, especially Ian Canada, who actually made a lot of these components that are inside. By the way, I strongly advise you, I have a link below about my streamer. You could check it out and how it was built. To make story short, so I built the streamer. It is really way up there, and then I could actually see a difference with the Denafrips using the I2S input. Now I was happy because at first I said, okay, I spent all this money, I still don't see, I mean, this is not cheap. They're about 4,500 US, cost me about 6,500 Canadian by the time it came to the door. So it's not like a cheap DAC. So I really want this to work because everybody raves about it. I was like, what's the big rave about it? Anyway, so then once I built my streamer, I could actually see the difference. Not huge, but I could see a good difference. I was then happy. The next part that came is my speakers are not really great revealing speakers. So, okay, I'm not going to spend $20,000 on great speakers, so I built those guys, the GabStreamer GS11s. Again, if you guys haven't seen, this is another interesting video. I'll put a link below how I built these guys. They're phenomenal speakers, rival any of the high-end speakers around. And when I got the speakers working, this is when I actually could see a night and day difference between my Node 2i and the Terminator. So the moral of the story is, don't just upgrade, let's say, your DAC when the rest of your system isn't up there. you kind of need to have good components to start seeing differences when you start to get into the high end, because the differences are not that huge at that point. So if you don't have a very revealing system, you're not going to see a huge difference, and you'll be disappointed like I did before. The PS Audio DirectStream comes from an amazing company, PS Audio. They're extremely great. They have excellent service. You can actually buy a product, try it for 30 days, and send it back if you don't like to do that, if you don't like it, which rarely happens. But just to go how well they stand behind their company and their brand and their products. This is no slouch. It's very highly regarded DAC. It's been around for quite a few years now. I have it running right now on the latest Sunlight firmware. Terminator comes from Denafrips. It's a Chinese company and it's sold from Singapore, Winshine Audio. It is also a great company. They do stand behind their product, but not as much as, for example, if you want to repair your product, they may send you a part to install it yourself, or you might have to ship it back to them, which could cost quite a bit of money. But nevertheless, they do stand behind their product. They're not bad at all either. Maybe not as good as PS Audio because they're pretty much local, but they're still decent. Nevertheless, it's not a North American company, and some people might look at it from an inferior view, but they do make some very high-end product as well, and this is one of them, so don't always take everything equally. This is built like a tank. It's got some amazing components inside, and it sounds amazing as well. So here we go. In this video we're gonna listen to some different audio clips that were recorded from my GS11 speakers. I am using two Macintosh 275s. They're running on monoblocks and Macintosh C22 preamp. Somewhat of a vintage system, tube, but that's what I like and that's what I love. We'll be listening to different songs. I'm gonna put them right after each other. The sound was recorded on a nice microphone, Zoom 6, decent, maybe not the best of all times, but it's fairly decent with 96 kilobyte waves. So fairly decent recording. It will not be like being here by the time you listen to it on your system. Depends on your headphones, depends on your device, things will change. But nevertheless, it might give you some idea of what things, they sound like. I strongly suggest you listen with headphones, otherwise it's really no point because you're not going to hear any difference. It's hard enough. If I were to summarize, you're not going to see a huge difference between the two. There are differences for sure, and I will talk about them later, but they are not huge. And if you want to cut to the chase and if you don't want to waste your time watching the whole video, both are great DACs, but it depends on what you like and what's your flavor. And some will prefer one to the other. Without wasting too much time, let's start into comparing and listening to the two, and I'll come back at the end and I'll have a quick talk again. In the comparison throughout the listening portion of the video, you're gonna see three different systems. One with the PS Audio running on the I2S input from my GabStreamer, and the other one is the Terminator running also on an I2S input from my GabStreamer. And I thought this would be a fair comparison, both running on I2S, both running from the same source, whether you like it or not. But at least it's the same, so it gives you a comparative point. The third one is going to be where we listen to the PS Audio running from its own bridge streamer. and the Denafrips Terminator running from my GabStreamer. And we'll also be seeing a version of the PS Audio running the Sunlight firmware, and this way it gives you also some ideas. So I'll put them one after the other. They're gonna run through different songs, and it's gonna be a little easier to compare both this way. You'll be listening on my Gabster GS11 speakers. If you have not seen the videos on how I built those, these are actually DIY speakers that I built myself, for myself. They're not commercialized or trying to sell them, so it's just for me. And I'll put a link below and how I build them and all the details that went into them, and that could help someone get inspired to build some of their own. Hope things go well, and hope you can see some difference. Get for sure some headphones, because that's very critical. Otherwise you will not see any difference whatsoever. And I hope you can tell me and comment below on which ones you like the best. Take care.
is not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Will you drown me in a way? I could deny you, I could stray. Will you kiss me in a way? Not you. Come and drown me now. I never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been fine. My cause is not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Will you drown me in a way? I could deny you, I could stray. Will you kiss me in a way?
All right, welcome back again. So hopefully you guys got to hear some differences. For those of you who did, if you don't mind commenting below, what did you prefer? Which one did you like better? And I think that ultimately is the best analysis of this video. For those of you who couldn't see a big difference, I will chime in a little bit here. First of all, the difference is not that big, so don't think like one is going to smash the other one. Not really. They're both great DACs. They have some slight differences in sound. The PS Audio, I say, is more neutral, if I could say that, where the Denafrips is also neutral, but the mid-range is a little bit more open, a little bit more air into the mid-range section. But that also depends on your speakers and your system. So you may find in your system one is more preferable than the other. So at the end, I think they're both great DACs, and I don't. If you have one or the other, that doesn't mean don't rush to sell whatever you have to buy the other one. I think if you have the PS Audio DirectStream, I would stick to it. It's still a very very well regarded DAC, and if you have the Denafrips Terminator, it's also a great DAC to have. They're both around the same price range. The Denafrips Terminator is a little bit less, but bear in mind with the Denafrips Terminator you do not have a built-in streamer, so you have to buy your own streamer, and that's going to run you quite a bit more money to get to the level where you can get a decent sound. So at the end you end up being about the same level. Some of the advantages of the PS Audio is you can get it with Bridge 2 built in, so it's got a built-in streamer, and then you don't have to go source an external streamer, but you can if you like. I have to say I was very impressed with the Bridge 2 as a streamer. It wasn't bad at all. I thought it was a fairly decent streamer. I still prefer mine at the end, but I'm biased. But yeah, but no, they're not the same layout. One is just this is a way more elaborate system than the other one there. So yeah, hopefully you find this video helpful and maybe helped you in finding decisions. I haven't seen too many videos comparing the two together. I thought it would be nice to put something out for people who are always wondering which one is preferable. There are so many DACs out there, it's becoming very, very difficult to navigate through all that. But in some ways it's good, because there's some really good DACs out there nowadays, and the technology keeps on improving. But there's also some DACs that are not equally great. But again, there's different price ranges. These are not cheap DACs. We're talking a lot of money here. And but you can pick pretty much most of them on the used market as well if you prefer, and save some money that way. There are some out there, and then this way you can, if you don't like it, you can sell it and recoup your money. Or you can buy a new one from PS Audio, and 30 days later you don't like it, you can send it back. For those of you who are interested in a streamer, I strongly encourage you to look up the two videos actually about how I built the streamer. I strongly suggest you watch them. It's quite an interesting journey building some of your own stuffs. Now, guys, if you would ask me which one I would keep in my place, it's a really hard decision. I think I would tend to keep the Denafrips, and the reason is went through a long thing to build this streamer to run with the Denafrips Terminator, so I have some advantages there. The Denafrips Terminator is not as hasn't been around as long as the PS Audio DirectStream, so it's still slightly more current in some ways. So I would personally probably prefer the Denafrips over the PS Audio, but we're cutting split hairs here between the two. Hope you find this video helpful, and if you like my channel, please subscribe, give me some thumbs up, and hope to see you again in another one. Take care.